Getting going live.
Let's go. We're live.
All right.
All right.
And we are live. Thanks everyone for joining us. My name is Angel. I am joined by the one and only Pavan Agarwal, CEO of Sunwest Mortgage and Selligence, which is the tech company behind our very own AI personal assistant, Morgan, making some big splashes in the AI space. We're joined today by our guest, Edwin Acevedo. He's not only an amazing real estate broker himself, he's also co-founder of Lotus Group Real Estate. It's one of Southern California's fastest growing brokerages. So thanks for joining us. We're very excited to pick your brain. I know we've got lots of realtors on this call that will be interested to hear your tips and tricks and how you got to where you are today. Loan officers that are out there, I know you all can learn a lot about how to be the best possible partner to realtors like Edwin. But first, I do want to circle back. We had a wonderful guest last week, Joanna Adabashian, on our call, and we actually have an update from her. She sent you a message, right, Pavan?
Yes, she did. She sent me a message, and I don't have it in front of me. Do you have it handy?
Yes, I do.
So if you can read it out for the group. So basically, for those who watched last week's webinar, she said that she's known about Morgan for a while, and we've been encouraging her to use it to try out the lead prospecting. And so she said, I finally did it. So after like 6 weeks of encouragement, she finally did it. And last week she was remiss about why it took her so long to do it. So she had just uploaded a batch of leads, I think a few hundred leads, just like an hour or two before the webinar. And then I think the following day or the day after, so within 48 hours, we got a text from her. And basically saying, I think out of a few hundred leads, she got 9 appointments?
Yeah, she said she got 9 appointments. A handful of them that she already talked to want to be kept updated on the neighborhood, and she has some potential buyers that are going to be ready in the next 3 to 12 months. So
yeah, so she was over the top in excitement, and this is just she has a database. She did 17,000 transactions. Her realty group did 17,000 transactions in the last few years. So she just uploaded a tiny sample of her database to test out. And these were old, stale, she thought they were stale until the AI took a swipe at it and attacked. And, what an amazing story. And this is not unique. Every realtor that has participated and has tried it out has gotten appointments from this. And I think, Edwin, in your office, one of your agents put in a few hundred leads, and I think they got 2 reverse deals, reverse mortgage purchase deals out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely correct. Yeah.
So if you're watching this and you haven't tried it out yet, or if you're watching this and you're wondering, what is this about? How do I get appointments? How do I get free appointments? How does this work? Okay, so stay tuned. We're going to go through all of that in today's webinar in the next 60 minutes. It's only 60 minutes. It's going to be quick, and you're going to learn a ton in this webinar. First, you're going to learn from Edwin, and he basically started self-made, started from nothing, built an amazing real estate franchise on his own, and with the help of his beautiful wife, of course. And where is she? She's not joining us today. What happened?
I'm glad you said that, because if she watches this, it's like, no, she's definitely been a great help with the company as well. So she's right now currently working on some loans as we speak. So
Okay.
keeping busy.
Yeah. So so Edwin's going to share some of his secrets. And then along the way, we'll also share some of Morgan's secrets and how you can grow and multiply your business using Morgan. So I'm going to open up with a question to Edwin. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh man! All right, here we go. Here we go.
I'm going to ask you to date yourself. How long ago was it that you first got your real estate license and you did your first deal?
My first okay. First, I got my license in 2008. So literally, like maybe weeks after the market crashed. And so for me, before then I was working for, I'm gonna kind of go back a little bit, but before that, I was working for the Boeing company. I was a software engineer at the Boeing company, and I was there for 10 years. And I saw that how real estate was just booming. And here I am behind a desk, 9 to 5 job. And I'm like, I gotta quit this great paying job, but I gotta get in this real estate thing. They're making a lot of money there. So when I quit, that's when I said, all right, let's make it happen. And next thing you know, the market crashes 3 weeks later. So I was out of a job. The market was underwater. I was telling my employer, hey guys, I was just kidding. Can I have my job back? That didn't happen, obviously. And so, there I was. So for a good year, not only was I rookie in the industry, but the market was just dead. I mean, all we had back then, when we would log on the MLS for you realtors out there who just got their license, imagine logging onto the MLS and just seeing sale type, REOs, and short sales. That's all you saw, right? Maybe there were some standard sales sprinkled in there, but those were rehab properties from investors that were picking up these on mass level from the courts and what have you, and then they would resell them. So, but all you would see is REOs and short sales. And so for me, it was a little bit difficult to get going because one, I was too new to have an REO account, right? And now you ask me now, I know how to handle REOs like back of my hand because I got the experience through another person. But the short sales was an avenue for me to look into, because there I can reach out to the community that was looking to get modifications back then. And if they weren't able to qualify for a modification, then the only other option is to do a short sale. So then that's where I started to find my niche and started helping the community by getting modifications, and eventually started getting listings through short sales and what have you. And I started selling them to investors, and eventually I resold them to that. So that question you had was, what was my first deal? It was probably an investor that gave me a listing back, or actually, no, I'm sorry, where I sold a short sale to an investor on these deals that I was going out, getting them from the community when they weren't able to qualify through modification. So I had to figure something out. I had to figure out a niche and what was available to me at that time. And so that's what I found. And slowly that became more of a thing where I had 15 short sales at a time in 1 year, through equator.com and a bunch of other accounts, portals I was kind of going through. So that was my thing.
So the latest housing data I think I saw was that the projection is this year, 2023, there will be fewer real estate transactions than in 2008. So it's very cool that we have you on today talking about this, because there's a lot of agents that are watching this, both loan officers and realtors, who are new to the industry and very similar to your situation. They saw the boom last couple of years and says, I need to get there. And then they get there just when the boom is over. Right. So are you seeing, first of all, the first question here is, are you seeing that this year, how do you feel? Is it the same, worse, or better than 2008 when you first started?
Well, it's a relative question, right? Because if you ask me what's better, and of course it's going to be better because I have more experience now. I got 15 years of doing this. I understand how to run a business. And so when you understand how to run a business, it doesn't matter what market you're in, right? That's the most important thing. Well said. And I think that's the part where we need to really delve into, right? You have to understand, Pavan, that a lot of realtors were born, and when I say born, they got their license during the pandemic. And so when they got released into the wild, into the real estate, wild, all they were able to do was really to be on Instagram and TikTok and promote their business and get business through DMs. We weren't allowed to do open houses back then. We weren't able to door knock. We weren't able to contact people in person because of COVID. So they got used to this thing or this idea that real estate business is done mostly through that. And so now that the pandemic's over and we're back to meeting people face to face, and now we're doing open houses, a lot of majority of the agents did not go back and go back to pre-COVID ways of doing business. And so what happened is that they didn't adjust. And when they didn't adjust, they go back to JOB, which is a job. That's why we lost 55,000 realtors this year. You know, they went back to work. It never adjusted. It's not their fault. I think going to the wrong, hang their license with the wrong brokerage and never adjusted themselves was number one. But they didn't know. They don't know what they don't know. They only join a brokerage because a friend recommended them there, or they got mailing or what have you. But the idea, what I'm trying to get to is we got to get back to the fundamentals of doing real estate, right?
Yeah, I think that's the big difference with your brokerage is you take the time to really coach the agents and you have experienced agents, you have new agents, and you really take the time to share your experience with them and keep them or get them on the right track. So now I'm not trying to dilute your hard work that you do every day with training everyone, but if you can kind of summarize it into a couple of, top 3 bullet points for our audience, we have a limited amount of time today. So what are the top 3 things, advice you give to agents who are trying in this market to grow their business?
One, you gotta cut all the noise. We're in the data information age right now. We're being fed so much information when we go on Instagram and TikTok that we're being told this is the best way to be successful in real estate. This is the way to be successful. This is be successful, and we get confused to like how to really make it happen in real estate. How to be a top producer. If you peel the orange right back to the root, it's really a contact sport. All we gotta do is talk to people. That's it. The more contacts we have, the more likely we're going to do business. We got to get back to the fundamentals and old school contacting people. And once we get there, once we increase the revenue, then you start utilizing certain tools and technology, right? Which we're going to get into because I love technology. I come from a technology background, but I think we start off with the fundamentals because I believe that we don't have a lead generation problem. We have a lead converting problem.
Yeah.
Right. 2 different tools.
That's a great segue, Edwin. I like the way you put it. Real estate and by extension, loan business, it's a full contact sport. I love that.
Yep.
And you got to get out there. You got to make the contacts. And that would be a good segue into Angel and what we were talking about at the beginning of this conversation as to how Joanna and your team is using Morgan AI to multiply the effectiveness of your contact. So the AI does, half the contact work, if not more, for you. So take it away, Angel.
Yeah, so Morgan, our AI personal assistant, actually has a lead prospecting feature. So not only is it saving you a ton of time, but let's face it, most people don't really like doing cold calling, right? So what Morgan and her human assistants, we call them Morganistas, do is take all your leads and do that lead prospecting for you. So all you're having to do is drop in that file of leads. If you have, specific phone scripts that you want the Morganistas to use, email templates, you just drop those into Morgan. So this whole thing takes a couple minutes of your time. And then they are finding the people who are ready to buy, who are ready to sell, who are just interested in talking to you, which could then convert into a deal for you. So rather than spending your time dialing for hours and hours and getting a handful of contacts, you're just delivered on a silver platter the contacts that are ready to talk to you. So I'll show you how to do that. If you haven't already tried out Morgan, very simple to access. Anyone can access it. You just go to usemorgan.com and it's laid out just like a chat. So it makes it pretty familiar. As long as you send a text message, you can send an instant message. Using Morgan will look pretty familiar. Let me share my screen here and I'll show you exactly how to do it. So when you go to usemorgan.com, you just hit Let's Chat. And all you have to do to use this feature is say, I have a bulk file of leads for you to follow up on. Right there in Morgan, there's a little paperclip icon right there. So you can attach your documents that you want to provide to Morgan for whatever reason, whether it's, you want her to do an income calculation, you want her to take a look at a document, or like in this case, I want her to use all of my leads to follow up on and get me in contact with people who are ready to talk to me. So she asks what action I want taken. So you can choose to do a phone call campaign, an email campaign, or both. So I said both. Next, she's just asking if I have my own phone scripts, my own email templates that I want to use. And same thing, I'm just using that paperclip icon, browsing for my documents for my email template, my phone script. And that's really it. So if you were on last week, you heard Joanna say she can't believe why she put this off for so long. She just thought it was going to be a huge learning curve, a difficult thing to figure out, but that's really all it is. So I provided my lead file, my phone scripts, email templates, and she confirms, thank you. I'll keep you updated through weekly reports. So every week, once you do this, you're going to get an emailed report. Soon it's going to be a daily report. Right now it's weekly. And it's really cool. It just breaks down exactly what was done, how many phone call attempts were made, how many contacts were made. If the Morganistas did talk to someone who wasn't quite ready to talk to you yet, but based on the conversation, Morgan's able to do an analysis of when would be the best time to follow up with that lead. You're going to get all of that in a report. And just like you heard Joanna's experience at the top of our call here, Morgan just delivers to you, here are the people who are ready to talk to you. And then you're able to be most efficient with your time when you're looking for your leads.
That's amazing. I personally love the tool, and we're going into this new age of AI. That's what the talk's about right now, everywhere. And honestly, it's very useful for a lot of real estate professionals, not only realtors but also lenders and loan officers. And I'm amazed as to why we don't have more users. I know that it should be out there in front of everyone. And I think that sometimes, people find out, well, what's the catch? Like, what's the cost? Because people are used to being charged for the service like this.
Yeah.
And in this case, in this scenario, there is no charge, right? And so, as of now. And so for me, it's like, it's great to capture leads that we feel like Pavan was talked about, that we think went stale, but maybe, just maybe, utilizing this tool may extract an extra 2-3 leads that convert to a contract. Because now in this market, at least where I'm at in real estate sales, that one deal is $15,000. That, if you get 2 leads, that's $30,000 that Morgan can create for you, that you can do so much with, right? And so it's very important for us to understand that these tools are there, and that we got to jump on these things because it's going to serve our real estate business and take it to the next level. And where else would you be able to have this? Nowhere. I can't name anywhere else other than Morgan that can do this for us. And I think that's important. And technology is here. It's not going anywhere. It's only getting stronger and stronger. And I believe with the leadership of what Pavan's doing in the group, I think it's going to be at a whole different level later from now. We're going to be looking back in 2023, and we're going to see how far this Morgan has come. And I know it's going to be there. So, kudos to you guys and what you guys are doing. It's amazing. I personally would love to do a shout out to everyone and let everyone know, hey, please use this because it's important. And there's been results already that we're seeing based on what you guys are saying or to us. So great job.
Good stuff. And there's some good questions that been posted on the live chat. Nora Leal asked from San Antonio, do you need a subscription? And the answer is no. Morgan is a free service, and it's intended to be a free service indefinitely, forever. So then second question is, do you have sample templates? And I also put this in the chat. You can go to hellomorgan.com, and there are many training videos on there, and they're really short, between 1 to 2 minutes, and I can walk you through that. And when you upload the lead file, it could be in any format. It could be in Excel, CSV, what have you. And the system will automatically read it, understand it, and load it up. And if it has any problems, trying to figure it out, it will contact you. And remember, the first thing you need to do when you go to Morgan to have the best experience is to create your account and to register yourself on Morgan with an account. So once you create it, and Angel will show you how to create an account on Morgan. Now, the interesting thing about Morgan is that it will start working for you and answering questions even without you creating an account, because it's just there to help as much as it can. But obviously, if you wanted to do lead follow-up, you got to have an account first, because otherwise it doesn't know how to get back to you when it's got a customer on the line. Okay, and no, there's no subscription needed, and it's available to realtors across the country. So, and also as far as the template, you can give Morgan a template. So if you want the Morganistas, the human beings that power Morgan, when they call your customer, if you want them to use a template script other than the standard templates that they have, you can give Morgan a custom template. Say, when you call my customers, say XYZ, or promote the following, and the Morganistas will follow that template. And that's where the power of the AI comes in, is that we have many dozens, hundreds of realtors using this, and they have each one have their own templates and so forth, and it keeps it all straight, and it keeps all the Morganistas going in the right direction, and controls that flow. And that's really where the magic is. Angel, can you go into how to register and how to create an account on Morgan?
Yeah, absolutely. So like Pavan said, you don't have to, anyone can go to usemorgan.com and start asking her questions, and as the URL implies, use Morgan. But having an account does give you a lot of benefits, especially if you are wanting to use that lead prospecting feature, because in creating your account, Morgan already has your contact information, and she's going to be learning more and more about you as you use Morgan. So that way you don't have to repeat yourself. Another huge benefit that I use all the time is you can switch devices. So if you're here maybe you're watching on your cell phone and you're using your cell phone browser, going to usemorgan.com and kind of following along, trying it out. Then you get to your office, and on your laptop or your desktop, you go to usemorgan.com. You can log in just by saying authenticate, and then all of your conversation history from any device you've been on talking to Morgan is going to populate. So you can continue your conversations, you can reference back things that Morgan told you. So it just makes using Morgan even more efficient. So if you go to usemorgan.com, you're going to hit Let's Chat. She's going to ask you for your name. If you've never used the system before, you'll just consent to the terms and conditions, and she'll ask how she can help. So all you have to do is say create account. She's going to ask for just a few pieces of information, one being your email address. So you'll provide your email address, and then she's going to send you a one-time code to your email to verify. So you just pop out to your email, get that 4-digit code, and provide it back to Morgan. Next, she's going to ask for your cell phone number. So Morgan also can send you text message updates. She's going to need you to consent to receive text messages from her. And then she's going to send you a text message with a 4-digit code. And I know a lot of times some people ask, why so much verification? Pavan, do you want to take that one? Or
Yes, it's for your own security. Right? You're going to be uploading leads, you're going to be uploading consumer data into the cloud, into the system. You want to make sure it's very, very secure, and that no one else can hack into it. So this it's really basically become 3-factor verification. It'll be your password, your email, and your cell number will be verified when you log in to Morgan, and that will hopefully keep the hackers out and keep your data secure.
Yes. So as mere mortals, we are susceptible to like a miskey typing in our email address or our phone number. So you don't want Morgan sending your silver platter of leads that are ready to buy to an email address that isn't going to get through to you, right? So, so last thing here, you're just going to create your password. She gives you some standards for that password, re-enter it, and bam, you've got your free Morgan account. So very simple to do. It's going to make your life even easier because, again, Morgan's going to remember your information. You'll have access to all of your past conversations, no matter what device you're on, or if you clear your browser history, you just say authenticate. She'll authenticate you and it'll all appear for you.
Okay, this has been a great session. We got a lot of activity here on the live chat. So I'm going to just take a minute. I'm going to try to answer everyone's questions.
Great.
So let's see. Is Morgan only for realtors? No, Morgan works for realtors and loan officers. And frankly, anyone can use Morgan. It is limited in the sense of the scope of the questions and what it can do. So if you're a realtor and you have a consumer in front of you and you want to know right away quickly whether this consumer can qualify, you could go to Morgan and say, hey, I've got this consumer, here's the situation. And Morgan will run through the analytics and tell you if the consumer qualifies and which products that consumer qualifies for. And that whole process can take a couple of minutes. If you're a realtor or a loan officer, we have plenty of loan officers who don't work for SunWest, which is the mortgage half of the business here, that use it on a regular basis. We have underwriters from competing lenders that use Morgan basically daily to do their jobs. So they go to Morgan to find out how to get a deal structured. So literally anyone can use Morgan to structure a deal, or to calculate income, or to review tax returns, or to review bank statements, or to review a credit report. Morgan does not pull credit reports for you because that is expensive, especially with the credit report fees that went up. So it does pull credit reports for agents that work for SunWest, but it won't pull it. You can give it a credit report that you've already pulled, and it'll analyze it, but it won't pull the credit report. If you're a mortgage broker listening to this, you can upload a MISMO file. You can export what they call a MISMO file from your loan system and import a Morgan, and Morgan will analyze it, underwrite the loan for you on the spot. So basically, any documents you give Morgan, any mortgage questions you ask it, it will do them anywhere from a minute or two, depending on what it is, to as much as 60 minutes if it gets excessively complex. But it's a heck of a lot faster than waiting 2 days for an underwriter to get back to you on a scenario desk. And this is a really big, most important feature of Morgan, is whatever answer it gives you is guaranteed. SunWest stands behind every answer that Morgan gives you. So if you give it income documents, you give it bank statements, Let's say, for example, Morgan missed a large deposit in the bank statement. Okay, that never happens. Morgan's never wrong. But let's say it did. If you submit that loan to SunWest is going to honor Morgan's analysis every single time. Okay, so the advantage for realtors and brokers that use Morgan is there's no last minute surprises. You submit a document, it gives you an answer, and you can forget about it. It's not like an underwriter's not going to change their mind. There's not going to be any pre-QC last minute oopsies popping up before closing. Next question, are the calls being made to the leads automated, or real people are calling the leads? Real people are calling the leads. Those are what we call the Morganistas. The Morgan is the technical term for it is augmented intelligence. It's people and machine. So it's people and the AI working together. No, we're not using the Elon Musk brain implant chip. There's just people and machine working together. It's like you keeping your hand on the wheel of your car. That's an example of humans and machines working together. So the same thing here. Humans and machines are working together to deliver a perfect answer and a perfect solution, and a high-speed, low-cost solution to you. And the other part of calling the leads is Morgan automatically does the myriad of do not call list scrubbing, opt-in for text messaging, all that. It does that for you, so you don't ever have to worry about getting in trouble on the compliance side of it. Can Morgan call my realtors from me? I guess it could. That's a good question. I guess it could be. And there's another question that was asked here. Can Morgan call lender leads? In other words, people who need mortgages. Those are all features that we'll be adding later on to Morgan. Right now, it's trained to focus on realtors calling prospective buyers and sellers. The next more generic version of Morgan is in the works, which will be able to basically call any kind of consumer for any kind of product. So it'll be a very broad-based, general-purpose personal assistant. The idea of Morgan is that let's get it to work properly for the most complex and most regulated industry in the planet, which is mortgages and real estate. Mortgage finance is the most complex, most regulated industry. And if now that we have it working for that, extending it for the general case is actually easier than the other way around. How do you spell that? It's called MISMO, M-I-S-M-O. If you're in the lending industry, if you're using one of the broker systems like Point or something else like that, they all have an option to export. It's a pretty standard way brokers can submit files to lenders. So you can take that file that you export from your, if you're a broker watching this, you can take a file that you export from your loan system and drop it into Morgan. There's another question that was asked, can we integrate a current CRM instead of having to upload a CSV file to it? The answer is no. Morgan is a full-blown CRM system. It does everything for you on a command basis. As more features are extended into Morgan, as it gets more robust, you will be throwing away your CRM system. So for now, you just hit export, takes 2 minutes, hit export, you go to Morgan, hit upload, and Morgan does the rest. No, Morgan at this point does not find phone numbers and email addresses. So it's only as good as the list you give it. That was another question I was asked. What does Morgan do with old leads? That's another great question. What does Morgan do with the old leads? Angel, could you bring up that slide that talks about how the nurturing prospecting campaign works?
Yes, one moment here. And another thing I'll mention, for those of you asking, can Morgan call my realtors? Can Morgan call my borrowers? And the answer was not yet. But get practice, get comfortable using Morgan, because there's already a ton of different things you can use Morgan for today. So if you are already comfortable using Morgan, well versed in the system, then when that ability is released, you're going to be on top of things. You know, you're not going to have to then spend the time to really get comfortable in the system. But this is
Ben Nicholas asked a really funny question. And I think actually it makes a good point, actually. The question is, if every realtor and LO in my town is using Morgan, right, then, you know, effectively, you know, who gets the lead and doesn't it defeat the purpose? Well, actually, that's a really good, in a way, it's such a good question because it's a first come, first served basis. So jump into it, adapt AI, use the tools, right? It's like saying, if you got the web domain first, then you own that web domain, right? So if you got a great domain, it's yours, right? If you got your list, you uploaded it, and Morgan's calling you that, it's whoever gets first, right? So start attacking, get the data, get it in there, start attacking. That's why, you know, our campaign, you know, if you follow us on social media, and please take a minute. So if you're watching us right now on YouTube, take a minute and hit the subscribe button. And you'll see all the latest stuff that we put out there, and follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn. And you'll see the campaign that we're running is, you know, use Morgan AI or get left behind. This is AI today is bigger than the Industrial Revolution. It's changing the whole way we work. And if you think that, oh, this is just a fad, it's going to go away, I'm going to keep doing things the old-fashioned way, you're gonna miss the boat. It's like if you'd fallen asleep in the 90s and not gotten your website up and running. I lived through that. I'm old enough to have lived through that, and I saw a lot of good business people, a lot of good businesses died because they just thought they could do without the internet. Okay, and this is more revolutionary than the internet. So jump on it. Don't fall behind.
Yeah, just going back to what Edwin said earlier about being able to adapt and doing so. You know, it's not just keeping an eye on the market and adjusting in that way, but also what's going on technology wise and what can you leverage to stay ahead as well. It's all those people who are able to adapt and change the way they're doing things for the better are the people who are getting ahead and staying ahead. This is what the lead follow-up schedule looks like when the Morganistas are making the phone calls. I don't think we mentioned also the Morganistas are bilingual, English and Spanish. On day one, they're going to make 5 phone call attempts. So of course, if they get through, they're not going to keep calling that 5 times, but they're going to attempt to make contact 5 times. On the second day, they're going to make 3 attempts, third day, 2 attempts. And the fourth and final day, they'll make 1 phone call attempt. From there, it's going to turn into just a weekly email drip campaign.
And again, the scripts that the Morganista use to call and the email scripts, you get to define that. You can give all that to Morgan, and Morgan keeps it straight, tells when the Morganista, you know, when the phone is dialed, it's all automated. The phone's dialed, the script pops up, and they read the script. And they're very well trained, and they read it with passion. And that's why, you know, agents are having the kind of results that Joanne did last week. She uploaded a few hundred leads and got 9 appointments. You know, can't ask for more than that. A person, I guess it's the company, is BHHS Elite, asked the question, it's a good question. Can micro-level questions such as DTI, specific loan program, down payment assistance criteria, etc., can Morgan provide guidance on the spot? And the answer is yes, absolutely, 100%. It does, and that's what it's very, very good at. It has almost every down payment assistance program in the country is in Morgan. It knows all the guidelines, FHA, VA, conventional, USDA, most of the major jumbo programs as well. So you can throw in as minute, fine-grained, complex, esoteric question, finance question, add it, and it will give you an answer. Sometimes the answer will be in a few seconds. Sometimes it will take, you know, a few minutes. 99.5% of everything that's ever been thrown at it including, stacks of K1 tax returns and things and huge schedule real estate, were done in under 90 minutes. That's completely reviewed, analyzed, and final warranted SunWest backed answers. So if you threw in a massive schedule of real estate and tax returns and said, what is the income? And 50 minutes later, Morgan gave you the income number. That's it. That's not going to change. Unless the documents change, unless you give it new information afterwards, that's not going to change, right? You can't get that out of any lender, any underwriter in the universe. Everyone, all the loan officers on this call, and I'm sure plenty of realtors have experienced it, where you've got an approval, you got some conditions, and then everything you think is going great, and then just before the loan closes, oh no, oh wait, the income, the DTI is wrong, or we need more cash to close, or something like that, right? That's because of human error, right? It's not because anyone's bad, it's just because of human error. Machines make less errors. Every other industry is done through robotic machine production, right? It's just financial services is the last one to get automated. So that's why, Toyota, every Toyota that comes off the assembly line looks exactly the same. It's perfect, flawless. It's all robotic production.
Yeah. So the more information, to your point, Pavan, that you guys are putting into the question, when here's everything I know about a borrower, what program is going to work for them? Can we make this deal work? The more information, the more specific you get, the more specific Morgan's answer can be. So don't feel like, oh, I'm going to confuse this AI by throwing in all of these details. That's actually the best thing you can do, so that Morgan can be really specific with her answer. And for things like DPAs, like you said, Pavan, there's just about every DPA in the country Morgan has programmed in. But if you come across one that she does not have, just ask for it to be added. You can actually ask right there within Morgan. Yeah,
that's a good point. I mean, it's still a machine. It's only as good as the information you give it. I've had some people try to troll me on social media that says, aha, I caught Morgan making a mistake. And then I go take a look at what they actually told Morgan. It's just, they gave it some really broad, incoherent question. And Morgan gave a broad answer. They gave it an incoherent question. Morgan gave a coherent yet broad answer. If you're going to sit there and try to stump the machine and try to get it to do something just to prove a point, I don't know, you might succeed in getting it to give you a non-answer. Okay, if that's your goal. But I think everyone that's watching this, I think everyone just wants to make more money and close more deals. And if your goal is to make more money, close more deals, and serve your borrowers better, then you can start by just simply putting good clean information in Morgan. You're going to get really great analysis and great answers back. Yes, Morgan, fix the market. I say what we said, we run Morgan for president. There's an idea. I wonder if an AI would do a better job as president. We'll see. Let's not get political now.
They just have to get rid of the age requirement. Morgan's a little young.
That's right. You got to be 42. Is it 42 or 45?
I think it's 42, which is a great number.
But Morgan was born and manufactured in Puerto Rico. So it meets that, 14th Amendment or something? We just have to dig up a birth certificate of Morgan to run for president. We'll figure that one out. But it was created in Puerto Rico. That's U.S. territory. Yes. So Morgan does. By the way, Morgan does itself speak over 100 languages. You can in the splash screen, we're going to use Morgan.com. On the splash screen, it lets you select between 3 of the most common: English, Spanish, and Korean. But beyond that, when you start talking to Morgan, you can start talking to it in any language. It'll detect what language it is, and it'll respond back to you in that language. Morganistas, another Dan Suave asked, still confused, are the Morganistas people or machine AI calling? No, the Morganistas are real people, flesh and blood. They're real people, they're bilingual, they're in Puerto Rico. So their English and Spanish is perfect. And because they're in Puerto Rico and they live in this amazing enchanted island, their spirit and attitude and hospitality is phenomenal. So your customers will just love hearing from them. But the Morganistas are driven by the AI, and they're directed and controlled, not controlled the wrong word, but they're directed and guided by the AI. So that's why they're able to be so productive and get cranked through, thousands of leads every day. I've never met a Puerto Rican named Morgan. That's funny. So Edwin, I interrupted you. You got through the first point of what makes the realtors, what advice you give your realtors to be successful. The first point was it's a full contact sport. Let's move on to the second point.
Well, no, I've been listening to what I've been following along with the questions, and I'm excited that everyone here is asking all these questions about Morgan, and it's a great tool. Like I mentioned to you before, it's something that we can definitely add on to our business. So the more people that use it, the better. And it's looking to make a lot of people lots of money. And so I'm excited for it.
All right. And Simon Ortiz is picking on Puerto Rican Spanish. Hey now, careful. I'm Puerto Rican myself.
You can say that too, right?
Yeah, and my son, by the way, was born in Puerto Rico.
There you go.
Born in Pavia Hospital. So he's full-blooded Puerto Rican.
Yeah, that's good.
Is there a video to walk me through getting started with Morgan? And the answer is yes. I'm going to put it up on this chat again. It's hello, HELLO, Morgan, MORGAN.com. If you go there and you go about halfway down the page, there's a carousel of different training videos that you can scroll through that walks you through. I think it's like 8 or 9 videos of all the key features of it. And on top of that, we actually have a workshop. We have small groups every day at 11 a.m. Pacific. Do you know, Angel, if we added a second session yet? No, we were working on that.
I believe so. I believe there's a second session on Fridays now. And
Okay.
big news, as of last week, we now offer them in Spanish as well.
All right. So we have Morgan workshop sessions in Spanish and in English. And all you have to do is to attend a workshop. You just go to usemorgan.com. And what's the prompt, Angel? How do you do it?
Workshop. Just say workshop. And she'll help you get registered for the next available session. We do keep them really small group because we want you to be able to get all your questions answered and make sure that we have a bunch of wonderful certified Morgan trainers that walk you through some exercises so you get comfortable. They'll help you create your account, all of that good stuff. And they're small group, so you can get the any assistance that you need. So just go to usemorgan.com and say workshop.
Simon compliments my house in Puerto Rico. Simon, did you by chance attend Morgan Bowl during a Super Bowl launch? And you could respond in the chat, Simon. You get a chance. Those of you who missed it, we did have a Super Bowl commercial this year, and you can go to our YouTube channel and go to the videos. You'll see our Super Bowl commercial. It did really well, and we saw traffic to Morgan just skyrocket after the Super Bowl commercial. So it's fun. Okay. So any other words of wisdom Edwin, for realtors and loan officers. I got a question for you. For all the loan officers that are watching, what advice do you have for loan officers when they're trying to get business from a top agent like yourself?
You know what? It all boils down to this. It's really about the customer service and the communication. That's something that obviously every realtor agent wants, because if a top producer is doing top producer things, that means that they're gonna want to have that majority communication updates done by that lender, that LO, right? So if there's an update or no update, there's an email that goes out saying, hey, appraisal's complete, came in at value, we're good to go, right? You can remove contingency. Or, hey, loan approval, congratulations, got loan approval. So it's constant communication. So before the agent or the client begins to wonder what's going on with the loan, there's already an update already there, right? And so that is the biggest thing that realtors love. It's when you don't hear any updates. It's when you don't know what's going on with the loan. It's already day 25 of escrow, and you still have no idea what's happening. That's when things go wrong. And obviously false promises, like, yeah, I can do this, I can make it happen. And eventually it's not. And now we have to, pivot and find out where we can go and take this loan somewhere else. And, now it's just a whole much dilemma. And now we're dealing with per diems and extensions and what have you. So really those two things, right? And we're getting back to the things of doing open houses again. So, one thing is that I see other realtors, especially new ones, and it's a lot of new agents that came on board, is joining them at their open houses. So, hey, feel free to kind of be there, because when these buyers walk into these open houses and have questions, the realtors only have so much information about how to answer those loan questions. And when they have that LO there side by side, right, and they answer the questions, not only is the conversion rate go up, but that realtor appreciates that. Because while the realtor is trying to sell the house, they can also get someone there to readily answer those questions there. And if you have a laptop there, by the way, if you're a lender or a realtor, sometimes you don't even have to have a lender. Just have Morgan up there and say, hey, oh, you have a question? Let me just ask Morgan right now, and I get that answer for you right away. So again, so many things you can do. So
yeah, I think sounds like the bottom line. It's almost a repeat of lesson number one for back to loan officers saying it's a full contact sport. Loan officers, get in contact with your realtors, keep them in the loop, don't hide from them. It's something, I've been a loan officer my whole life, and I always tell my team the same thing, which is, hey, the time when you need to call your realtors first is when you have bad news. And that's where I see the biggest mistake loan officers make is, if the loan's declined or there's some bad news, something went wrong, is they will procrastinate and they will hide and they will pray that hopefully magically it goes away, somehow. And it doesn't, it never goes away. You just got to go deal with it. You got to get in front of, and look, your realtor, for the loan officer listening, your realtor is a professional just like you. And a professional needs information to succeed. And a professional, if there's a problem, you guys work as a team, right? People, I think a lot of loan officers forget that you and your realtor are a team together, right? As Hillary Clinton said, stronger together.
Right.
Don't work against each other. Don't work with each other and solve problems together.
Right.
Okay. Right.
And there's a common goal there, right?
Yeah. Life's not perfect. I mean, there was a big agent, really big agent that I had lunch with about a month ago, and he told me a story about how the borrower 2 weeks before closing lost his job, and the loan officer ran around in circles, hid the information, hoping and praying that somehow it wouldn't get noticed, and the loan would just close. And of course, it got noticed, and of course, basically, and contingencies had already been pulled, and now the docs are not being released, and now the realtor is scrambling last minute trying to renegotiate with the seller to extend the escrow out until the buyer got settled in a new job. So when all that could have been easily handled 2 weeks earlier, right? So look, things happen, and your realtor is a professional just like you. Don't be, they need to know the information.
Communication is key. That's the biggest thing, right? Communication solves everything. And we're here to provide solutions, and sometimes our puzzle piece board, we feel it's complete, and someone comes along and says, screw your puzzle pieces, they're all over the place now, and we have to reconstruct it again and push it somewhere else, because we're all about solutions, we're all about the clients first. Not about egos, not about, hey, I have to make sure I look good and my deals don't fall apart. No, it's not about that. Put that aside, and clients are first. That's how we got to talk. That's what we focus on.
Exactly. And with that said, Angel, could you show that invite friend feature of Morgan? And there's just an amazing capability Morgan has that keeps the loan officer, realtors, and borrowers all in the loop at the same time. So Morgan has solved that communication problem through automation. So
here we go. So you can actually have a group chat with Morgan, with really as many people as you want in that chat. But so if you are a loan officer, realtor, invite your partner into a group chat with Morgan so you guys can, ask questions, stay on the same page. You can invite your clients, your borrowers into the chat as well. So all three of you can stay in contact. On the right-hand side of your Morgan screen, you're going to see it says Morgan Current Errands. Those are essentially different conversations. So you can have as many conversations going with Morgan at once as you want. So start a new errand just so that you have a fresh conversation when you're inviting your realtor, your loan officer, your borrower. And then in the top left-hand corner, that's the add a friend button. So it looks like just a little person with a plus sign. So you hit that, it'll say slide to invite friend. And then Morgan's just going to ask for your friend's information. Morgan will need their name, their email address, and their phone number. And then just like that, Morgan's going to send them both a text and an email so they can join whichever way is most convenient for them. So it'll say dialing until they've joined. They're going to get, again, text message and an email. It's very easy. They just have a link to click and they're in the conversation. You'll see friend added. So they don't, click and that takes them to the app store where they download the app and then they have to install it and register and and then they don't want to play anymore. They click on that link and they're right in the conversation. So it makes it really easy for everyone. And that group chat, again, it stays as part of your account so you can access it from any device.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Morgan runs with and without an app. So there is an app in your app store, both iOS and Android. You just search on your app store called, I think it's Morgan Empathetic Technology, and you can download the app. But apps are inconvenient for consumers, especially when you want to have them pull into a conversation. So Morgan runs almost as well without an app, just inside the Safari browser or Chrome as it does in the app. It's a little faster, it's a little slicker in the app. But when you want to get your third party, your consumer, somebody in there and talking to you and getting a problem solved, you don't want any barriers. So when they get that link and they're on their phone, their tablet, they can click it and it'll open up Safari and they'll go right into the conversation and it's full featured, everything that you can do in Morgan app. You can do pretty much almost everything you could do in the browser as well.
So I know we're running right up against time. Are there any last questions, comments in the chat, the live chat you want to share?
Kelly says, let's go, bring it.
Mm-hmm.
And Burn Ab says, hola, I love Morgan. And we love you too, Burn. And Morgan loves you. And one of the things you can always try out, go to Morgan, ask her if she loves you. And the other thing Morgan can show you how much she loves you. You can ask her for a T-shirt and she will mail you a free Morgan. They're very, very cool Morgan t-shirts. Yes. And I promise you, I put on the Morgan t-shirt and I end up looking better than Angel. And also the other interesting thing about asking Morgan for a t-shirt is you'll get to experience the future of e-commerce. So one of the patents that we own is the whole idea of buying products online using a AI chat system. Okay, so in this case, it's free, but you're going to experience that. This is the future. This is where everything is headed. So you will get to experience for yourself how you will be shopping for everything in the future.
Yes, so use Morgan.com and just tell her, I want a t-shirt. She'll walk you through the rest, and in a couple of days, you will be the proud owner of your own Morgan t-shirt.
So not only does she answer any mortgage finance question that you have, and not only are those questions fully backed by SunWest, and they're never wrong, she's also a empress. Morgan is a woman. I do get that question asked a lot. It is gender specific. And she will email you, or sorry, she will mail you a t-shirt. And we are expanding out Morgan's e-commerce capabilities. There'll be many more things she'll be doing in the future. And yes, Jeff Bezos will owe me royalties if he starts trying to build an AI chat-based Amazon.
Hey, that wouldn't be too bad either.
We'll see how he figures out if he can figure out a way around my patent. Okay. I just ordered. Okay, Kelly, I just ordered a t-shirt. Woohoo!
Love it.
It's that easy.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, thanks everyone for joining. Edwin, thank you so much for sharing your insights. It's been a pleasure having you on.
No, definitely, it's been a privilege to be on here with you guys. I mean, I'm excited once again and watching, you guys talk about the Morgan product and AI, right? It's amazing. So it's a pleasure. Thank you, Pavan. Thank you, and thank you pretty much for everything that you guys have to offer.
All right, everybody. Thanks everyone for joining. You guys have been wonderful. Great conversation on the live chat today. All right, cheers. We'll see you all next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.